All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful stories from ancient Greece. We're going to explore the myth of Persephone, a single, incredible story that the Greeks used to make sense of everything from love and loss to why the seasons themselves even change.
I mean, it's a question we've all wondered about, right? You see the world bloom and then fade, warm up and then get cold. Yeah, we've got science to explain it now, of course, but thousands of years ago, the explanation was a whole lot more dramatic.
So instead of data, they used a myth. It was a story that explained the cycle of life and death on Earth through the dramatic fate of one young goddess. And her story starts with two powers that are complete opposites.
So our story kicks off with two incredibly powerful forces, each ruling over their own domain, setting the stage for a major clash.
Okay, so this is where the main conflict really starts. On one side, you've got Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. She's all about life, growth, and the sunny world above. And on the other side, you've got Hades, the ruler of the underworld, the dark, mysterious realm of the dead. They could not be more different.
And caught right in the middle of these two worlds is Persephone, Demeter's daughter. One day, while she's just out picking flowers, the ground literally splits wide open. A chasm appears, and Hades himself emerges, pulling her down into his dark kingdom, and the world above was never going to be the same again.
So, Persephone's abduction. It's not just a family problem. It actually triggers a full-blown global catastrophe, and it all comes down to one single, powerful emotion. And this right here, this is the key. Demeter is just completely overwhelmed with anguish, a pain so deep, so profound, it actually has the power to change reality itself. Her personal sorrow is about to become everyone's problem. Big time.
And the fallout from her grief? It's absolutely catastrophic. Lost in her sorrow, Demeter just completely neglects her duties. Crops fail, plants wither, and a terrible famine sweeps across the earth. As humanity begins to starve, the other gods realize that one mother's despair is now threatening all of creation. Meanwhile, what's happening to Persephone? Well, deep underground, her fate is being sealed by something really small, almost innocent, an act that's going to tie her to the underworld forever.
Just the number 6. What could that possibly mean? It seems so random, but trust me, it's the key to this whole story.
Pomegranate seeds, that's what it is, 6 little pomegranate seeds. While she's in the underworld, Hades offers Persephone the fruit, and she eats just 6 of the seeds, and that one simple act changes absolutely everything.
See, there was this ancient, unbreakable rule. If you eat or drink anything in the underworld, you can never fully leave. So by eating those seeds, Persephone, without even knowing it, enters into a covenant. It's a binding pact that ties her to the realm of the dead. There's no getting out of it.
Okay, so we've got a total stalemate, right? The world above is dying, and Persephone is now bound to the world below. Things are so bad that the big boss himself, Zeus, has to step in. So, Zeus sends Hermes, the messenger god, to sort this mess out. And after some divine negotiation, they strike a deal. Because she ate those 6 seeds, Persephone has to spend part of the year with Hades. But to save the world from Demeter's grief, she'll be allowed to return to her mother for the rest of the year. And this deal? This is what creates the very rhythm of our world. It's actually pretty simple. When Persephone is back on Earth, Demeter is overjoyed, right? The world is filled with abundance and life, and we call it spring and summer. But when Persephone has to descend back to the underworld, Demeter's grief returns, and the world becomes barren and cold. Hello, autumn and winter. And just like that, a permanent cycle is born. The seasons aren't random anymore. They're totally tied to this predictable rhythm. A mother's joy and her sorrow, all following her daughter's journey between two different worlds.
Now this story gave the ancient Greeks an amazing way to understand their world, but its meaning goes so much deeper than just explaining the weather.
You know, what this myth is really telling us is that everything's about balance. It shows us that joy and sorrow, life and death, growth and decline, they aren't enemies. They're just two parts of the same essential cycle. And maybe most importantly, it holds this constant promise that even after the worst loss, after the coldest winter, renewal is always, always on its way.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? The Greeks saw this pattern in the seasons, but this idea of loss followed by renewal, it's everywhere you look. So the real question for us is, what are the great cycles that shape our world and our own lives today?